tragic. Demons appear like magic. Money long so elastic. Foreign fabrics to fashion.
I'm itching for money, cash addict. See a John in my pockets like Titanic. When I get on the beat, it's Jurassic. Little niggas don't want static.
Wavy come like tsunami and drown you with the drip.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And as you guys can see right here, we're going to be using this tier maker. We're going to be talking about the Pistons players that you see on the screen, but the Pistons roster, and we're going to be ranking their importance to the Pistons' future. We're not going to be ranking them as the best players on the team or who's worst, who's best, etc. We're going to be ranking them based on who's the most important to the Pistons' future. And I think this would be pretty clever. I mean, I think it would be pretty boring if I just put, like, who's the best players on the team, because then you, like, you know, Blake and Luke and Derek would just obviously be at top and would be pretty boring. And, you know, I think this is pretty interesting to see what I think, and I'd like to see what you guys think about who I believe is most important to their future in different kind of ways, too. So, I mean, let me know what you guys think about it below, and we can get started here. So, I mean, who should we start with here? This is my first time using this, too, so who should we start with? Let's go ahead and start with Svi. So, Svi, for me, I would put Svi in... I think I would put Svi right here in this B category. And the reason why I put Svi right here in this B category is because I don't think... Obviously, Svi's not important, so he can't be in here. But the thing is, I don't think Svi is going to be anything more than a role player or maybe like a sharpshooter who just simply shoots threes on like a contending team. But in order for that to happen for him, he'd have to be surrounded by like he'd have to be like on the Lakers with two superstars, and his role is just to simply shoot. So the reason why I have him right here, because the Pistons don't have that, and I don't think he can develop into anything more. I think he's a good rotational piece the Pistons have, a great pick in the second round, so he's valuable to the Pistons, but I don't think he's extraordinarily valuable to the Pistons' future. And also, I don't think we're gonna be able to flip him in any trades for like a star or like a really good player or some really good picks or anything like that. So like, he's not gonna be able to flip. He's not gonna be able to be traded for like anything of great value. He's not bad value. He's not going to become a star. He's a good rotational piece, which I think is good enough to be put right here. So, once I know Svi has a lot of fans in the Pistons community, so this is not disrespect. Don't take it as disrespect. I just think that he's not good enough, or will be good enough, or has the potential to be good enough to be in any of these two categories. He's not bad, so he's not in here. He can't be flipped in the future for anything, so it's not like we can flip him into something more that could get him into here. I think he's perfect just like right here for the Pistons' future. So that's why I have Svi Mykhailiuk. We're going to put him right here in this B category. So Tony Snell. I really didn't want to include Tony Snell in here because I honestly just want to put him right here. I'll put him right here for this reason only. He's going to be an expiring contract if he opts in. So we could flip him for something. He could be involved in a trade moving forward. Actually, I think he probably is most likely going to be involved in a trade moving forward. So I think that gives him some value to the Pistons' future. He can get back a pick, or he can be included in a trade that could get you guys a pick, or get you a player, or etc. So the fact that he can be flipped with this expiring puts him right here. But that being his only set of value, and it's not like he's going to be able to get you like something amazing for that. I mean, I guess maybe he could. I mean, we didn't think John Lewis could get anything, and we got a pick and Tony Snell for him. So, but I'm going to put Tony Snell right here in this C category because he has some value to the Pistons' future by being like tradable, I guess, somewhat. So we're going to put him right here in the C category. Not much to say about Tony Snell. Just leave it at that. I'm going to skip over Sekiu and Luke right now. Let's go ahead and do Louis King. Or Lou King. I don't know if it's Lewis. I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. So Lou, I'm going to put him right here also with Tony Snell. And I know there's going to be a lot of Pistons fans that disagree with me on this. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys feel about Lou King, and just if you guys disagree or agree with anything I put on here. But let's go ahead and talk about why I have Lou King in the C category. For example, I think Svi's better than him, obviously. He's a young guy, relatively young guy. Obviously, the Pistons just picked him up last year. But the thing is with Lou is that, and the thing is with a lot of these Piston players, and it's popular among like fan bases to overrate their talent. Like Lou King, Pistons fans have to understand he's not no first round pick. I believe he was. I don't even think we drafted him. He was a two-way guy, right? So it's like you have to understand where you can like a guy and be excited to watch him because you just want to see these young guys and all that stuff. But let's not overvalue what he's a two-way guy. He didn't play much last year at all. To expect him to be like turn into something like this is just insane. To expect him to turn into something like this would be insane. And in order to get put right here with Svi, you'd have to show something to make me believe that you can be at least as good as Svi, or like you've shown that you can be a rotational piece. He hasn't shown much. I mean, like, he's an interesting project, I guess. So that's why I'd put him right here, because he has some value to be like turn into like he's a project, so he can maybe turn into a rotational piece, maybe. But the very likely outcome, I'm not wishing. I hope he succeeds. I hope all these players succeed. But the most likely outcome for him is probably not to be on this roster and like moving forward very long, and to just like kind of flame out. But he does have some potential to be a rotational piece because he's a young guy and the Pistons are trying to develop him. So I'll put him right here in the C category. So don't come at me too hard. I just think that people need to be more realistic with what these guys are compared across the league, and like try not to overvalue their own talent. Basically, what I'm saying. So we're gonna put Luke King right here in this C category. Kyrie. Kyrie is a tough one for me. Part of me wants to put Kyrie right here in this D category, not because he couldn't, like, if he's on another team, not because I couldn't see him maybe in the future becoming like an end of rotational guy and he can put right here, but Kyrie, I don't think he's going to have a shot to do anything with the Pistons. I think I've said this since Nick Hankel just he tweeted this the other day. I tweeted out and said I thought the same thing. I've been saying this. I said this on the podcast with Joe when we first drafted him, and once it became clear that Bruce had overtaken his spot as like the guy that from that draft that would be getting minutes, there's just no way for him into the rotation. We had Langston, Luke, Bruce. Who else would you have at the time? Wayne Ellington. We've had multiple people throughout, and then people joined the team. So we have like Derrick Rose. Now we had Reggie Jackson. So I mean, it was like no way in for him to get into the rotation, even if he was good enough. Like, we would never know if he was good enough because it's not like he could get into the rotation when they're trying to win and we have those players. Plus the fact that he's been injured a lot, so he hasn't been able to like take advantage of any real opportunities if he was given them. And I really see like I could see Kyrie just not being on the roster when the season starts, so it's being cut. So like part of me wants to put him in here because he probably he has the same, he probably, you would like to believe that he has more potential than Lou, because the Pistons traded up and wanted him. Like, the guys went up and got him because they saw something in him. And it's not like he's just been like, he's played and just played poorly. He just hasn't played. He hasn't got an opportunity because either he's injured or just the people in front of him. So we really don't know as a fan base what he could be. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we went to another team and was like a rotational player or end of the rotational player at least. So, but for the Pistons' future, I don't see them being able to flip him for a pick or anything, or flip him for like any other player. Honestly, I think the Pistons probably are just going to release him at some point, which is sad because, like I said, we'll never know if he was really going to be good. So I'm just going to put him right here. I don't want to. It kind of sucks that he's getting put right here because, like I said, he could be a rotational piece for the Pistons. He could have been like an okay piece, but I feel like we're just never going to know, and I think he's probably going to get released, which just sucks, but it is what it is. So next on the list, we're going to go with Jordan Bone. Jordan Bone, great story. I loved seeing the video when we got drafted, and he wasn't expecting to get drafted, and his name was called. That was amazing. He's athletic. He's really athletic. He struggled his first year in the NBA. He did really good in the Grand Rapids League, down the G League. He did really good there, but when he came out to the NBA, he really struggled to adjust to the pace, use his speed and his own pace to his liking to like help him play better. He really struggled just overall in the NBA. So, but I want to say, so I want to put him right here because, like I said, it's kind of the same thing with Lou, except I think he showed more than Lou. I think he, and from all accounts, we've heard good things about him. So I want to put him above Lou because I think he showed more than Lou. He has more potential than Lou. But also, I don't want to put him with V because V has shown a lot more, than obviously a lot more than Jordan Bone to be how important he is to the future. So if I could, I'd put him like right here in this middle spot. Like I'd put him like right between C and B, so where he's like above these guys, but he's like right below Svi. Like he's a tier below Svi, but he's above these guys. So that's why I would put him. But since I can't I don't think I can put him like just drop him. Yeah, I can't just drop him right there. So I'm gonna put him right here with C. But if you guys are watching, I have him above these two guys. He's a little bit above these two guys, and below Svi. So this is why I put him. Jordan, I think he could be like a backup point guard for the Pistons. He's not going to be the Pistons point guard of the future. He could be their backup. This season, maybe he could be their third string point guard since Derrick Rose is here and they're going to likely draft one or sign one. They've talked about drafting and signing one. So like, where does that put him? If they really believed in him, why would they be signing, and then also drafting and also keeping Derrick Rose? There's like no way he could possibly play unless they trade Derrick Rose, which is possible. But I think he's probably going to be their third point guard. If he develops to be their second point guard, their backup point guard, he'll be put right here. But I don't think he's going to be that this year. I think he could be a backup point guard, but right here, he's an interesting project. He's more interesting than Lou, but not good enough at all to be like anywhere around Svi's tier or up. So that's why I have Jordan Bone. So now we can start talking about these interesting players right here. We have 6 players right here who are the real interesting ones. Now, once again, you guys may be asking, like, where's Langston? I don't know who else I didn't put on here. But Langston's a free agent. I don't know if he's coming back. He could come back, but I don't know if he is going to come back. So I didn't want to include those guys because I feel like it'd kind of be hard to like do this video with players you're like uncertain about. So we'll go ahead. You know what? Let's go ahead and do Sekiu. Sekiyu's important to the future. Yes, he's in the top tier. Sekiu, everyone loves Sekiu. All the fans in Detroit love Sekiu. They think he's the future. They have every right to believe that he has immense potential because he does. Do I believe that he's going to become the star? Right now, no. I think that's a little lofty expectation. I think that people are being unfair to Sekiu to assume that of him. Do I think he could do that? Yes, he could become it because he has insane potential. He does have crazy potential. But I don't think he's going to become that. But that doesn't change the fact that he's the Pistons' probably most important piece they have right now, including this pick coming up this year. I think Sekiyu's probably the most important piece on this team because he has immense potential. You can develop him. You see it there. They have to develop this guy because the potential is there. He showed a mixture. I did a video on Sekiu. You can go check it out on my channel. But I did a video on Sekiu recently, talking about the good and the bad he did that we saw from his rookie season. And the good, that little 2-week stretch before he hit his rookie wall was really was insane to see. It was amazing to see. He knows how to play off ball. He showed potential attacking closeouts, which I really like. He cuts to the rim. He's a smart player because of how long he's played in the professional leagues overseas. So he has a lot of things going for him. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get more consistent, which I'm not going to hold against him his rookie season because every rookie runs into a rookie wall. And also, he's coming to America. He doesn't know anybody. He needs to learn the language. There's a lot of things. Not only is he hitting the rookie wall, he's also hitting the foreign wall. So there's a lot of walls that he had to hit his rookie season. And he also had some stuff he has to deal with his personal life. I'm assuming since you guys remember like Dwayne Casey's little comments about, oh, you should be having fun. You should get some girls, get a girlfriend. You should be having fun, enjoy yourself. So I'm assuming he dealt with like some personal things, living life over here. So there's a lot of things he went through. Basically, though, in the end, Sekiu is obviously top tier importance to the Pistons' future. Everything as of right now, hinges on Sekiu developing into something. So the Pistons have to develop him. They've done a terrible job developing people over the past decade. They can't let that be the thing with Sekiu because Sekiu seems like the kind of guy who's smart off the top. He's willing to work hard. He thinks highly of himself. He's extremely confident. And he has everything's there. You can see everything there for him to become something. So he's the top tier importance to the Pistons' future. They have to develop him. They don't develop him. Like, if they fail on this guy, like, he's their number one guy. If they fail developing this guy, everything that you see on the screen is just crashing. That doesn't matter. Everything will just crash if they can't develop Sekiu. So they have to develop Sekiu. So Sekiu, obviously, top tier importance to the Pistons' future. So let's go next. We're going to go with Luke. Luke is going to be right here. I'm not going to put him in the same tier as Sekiu, and this is why. I love Luke. He's better than Sekiu, obviously. You can make the argument he's behind. He's in the argument with these three. Blake's obviously better, so I'll say these two. Derek, I'd like to say obviously better. So I think Luke is probably the third best player on the team. You guys are like fighting that with Christian Wood, but Luke is a really good player right now. He can develop even more into a better player. I love Luke. I hope he stays in the team, but this is why I have him right here. Luke is not confirmed to be a part of like the Pistons' future, which really like sucks because I think he should be. He's developed really nicely. I understand he's had some injury concerns, but I don't think the injury concerns are as big as people make him out to be, or not enough for me to like bump him down here or not like him for the future. So he's a little bit older. He's 24 now, I think. He just turned 24. So Luke's a really good player, but the Pistons may be trading him, which you could get some value back for Luke, obviously. So you could make that argument that would put him up here, since you can get value for him in return, and he's also could be a part of the future because of how good he is. But I'm going to put him right here because I do think the Pistons are probably going to trade him, and I really don't want them to. But I think they are going to trade him. And if they do, I think whatever they get back will not equal the value of Luke. So as you're going to put him right here. If I think that if they could have traded Luke and got like a good player and a pick in return, I'd put him up here. Because I think that his value to the team moving forward, if he was on the roster, is already really good. And if they traded him, I think they could get just as good value to keep it right here. But I think if they trade him, it won't be good enough value to persuade me that it was a good idea to trade him. Also, he's 24, so maybe, just maybe, he's not on their timeline or whatever. But I think that Luke has... I think if you asked me this like a few years ago when he first got drafted, he'd be up here. But now that he's a few years in, he's 24 now, much older than Sekiu. And the fact that the Pistons are thinking about trading him, I'm going to put him right here in this A category. So I think Luke's really important. Obviously, you're in the second. He's in the A tier. I think he's extremely important. I just don't think that he's on the same level as importance as Sekiu is right now. So I'm gonna keep Luke right here. So who's next? Who do I want to do next? I guess we can just keep going over. Let's do Derek. Derek, I'm gonna put right here with Luke. And this is why I put Derek right here with Luke. Derek, obviously, he's 32 now, I think he is. He just turned 32. Or 31. I think he's 32. But Derek, obviously, is not part of, like, no young core or to, like, become, like, 5 years from now be good. But if the Pistons... There's three reasons why Derek is in the A tier. One, if the Pistons do decide to, like, semi-compete next year, like... I'll say this for everyone who stays this long in the video. I'll give you guys a preview into one of my hot takes I said on Twitter. A hot take that I'm going to do in a video that I haven't said yet. I'll give you guys a little preview. I think the Pistons' best outcome, like if you looked into their future, like their best outcome for next season, is Blake stays healthy and they have something like the Oklahoma City Thunder happen to them. I think Blake's that good. And I think if the pieces around him develop, they could be kind of like the Thunder. Not as good as the Thunder were, because their pieces around them just aren't as good. But I could see the Pistons having a similar season next year as the Thunder if Blake's healthy and back to himself. And that's my hot take. So if they do that, and they go for something like that, they want to have young pieces all the way around them, like Blake and Derek. They will have young pieces around everywhere, develop them, and hopefully they're like good rotational pieces or just good players. Like they're turning into good players around these guys. Then next year, the Pistons could have a good season. They could develop their young guys, and they could be a pretty good team to watch and compete for like a lower seed and just be like a good team to play and watch. So Derek can contribute to that. Second, if that's not what they do, he still is a veteran mentor. Bruce has already talked about how much he's helped him. Luke has talked about how much he's helped him. So he's a good veteran mentor in the locker room. So that's the second thing. Even if he doesn't we don't try to compete to win at all next year. Even if he's around during the rebuild, he's a good mentor to the young guys. And he's, as a former superstar, as an MVP, people listen to him. And everyone in the league respects him. So he's a good mentor to have in the league, in your locker room. And thirdly, if they trade him, Derek probably can get... Out of everybody on this list, Derek's probably going to get you the most value. Maybe C Wood if they were to, try to re-sign him and then trade him. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they can even do that. Because I think once you sign somebody, you have to keep them to, I forget what the rule is. I'm not sure, though. But I'm pretty sure Derek will get you, out of everybody here, will get you the most value. So all three of those reasons is why he's in this A tier. And obviously, just to talk about Derek as a player, he's a very good player. He was the Pistons MVP this past season. So a really good player. And along with those three reasons is why he's in this A tier for the Pistons' future. In every which direction they go, Derek's a part of that. Because if they rebuild, he stays a mentor. If they rebuild, they can trade him for really good value. If they don't want to, they want to try to go Oklahoma City route and like keep Derek and Blake compete, but also surround them. Don't surround them with like 30-year-olds competing for eighth seed. Surround them with young players that you're trying to develop and turn into good players, and they happen to be good players at the time, and you guys end up being good. Then it's fun to watch. So Derek's a part of all three of those routes you want to go. So I'm gonna put Derek right here in this A tier. C Wood. This is going to be a fun. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do C Wood right now. I'm saving him for last. Bruce. I'm putting Bruce right here in this S tier with Sekiu. I don't care what anyone says to me. Everyone knows that I'm the leader of the Bruce Brown fan club. And this is what I'm going to say about Bruce. Right outside of Sekiu, I made an article at the end of the season. I said that Bruce was the most fascinating or interesting thing from the Pistons season. The biggest takeaway from the Pistons season was Bruce and why he's the most interesting piece of their young core. Now, Bruce, Bruce's jump, the reason why I'm so fascinated with Bruce and to their future is the jump he made from his rookie season to sophomore year was extraordinary. Like, that's an insane jump to see. Like, if you make that kind of jump each year, you're developing into a star. If you make that same jump every year in the offseason, you're becoming a star at some point. Because the jump he made from one offseason was insane. So that's one thing that makes me really... That's one thing that really fascinated me about Bruce. Second, all of his skills are skills I love to see. He's a really good passer already. He's confident. He's athletic. He can get to the rim. Even though he can't shoot off the dribble, he still is so fast and his first step's so deadly, he gets to the rim every time. And he needs to develop finishing at the rim. That's his next step. He has to finish at the rim to make him worthy of this right here. But all the tools he has already, a really good passer, really good at attacking the rim, really good at finding people once he gets to the rim. He's already a really, really good defender. There's all kinds of things about Bruce already to like about him, and the fact that he developed so much from outside catch and shooting wise. I did a whole video on that and a whole article about that. I can put that in the comment below, in the bio below. My apologies, but Bruce Brown, there's so many things that could happen with Bruce. So like if he develops finishing at the rim, I compared him to Russell Westbrook. I don't think he can be as good as Russell Westbrook. Let's calm down. Obviously, everyone understand what I mean. If he can develop into finishing, if he can finish at the rim. He's like Russell Westbrook, who can rebound. He can pass really well. He can get to the rim really well. He's athletic, and he can finish at the rim. Those are all things that Russell Westbrook could do, and he can defend. So it's like all those kind of things. But if he develops at the rim, and he develops some kind of jumper or floater or consistent floater or jump shot, something off the dribble, then he can become a star. So I think Bruce is the reason why. In short. I have Bruce with Sekiu because I believe Sekiu and Bruce's ceiling are right around each other. I think Sekiu is more... If you want to say who's more likely to hit their ceiling, I guess you could say Sekiu because his doesn't involve as much... I don't think Sekiu, in order for him to hit his ceiling, he has to develop as much... Actually, I don't know. Either way, I think both of them have similar ceilings. Because Sekiu's ceiling, people like to say Pascal Siakam. I think Bruce's ceiling is to be a star point guard. I'm not joking. He's a really good defender already. He can get to the rim even without a jumper. He's developed really well through one season. Like, I'm really high on Bruce. I think these two ceilings, if you just said best case scenario, each step of their progression, best case, these two have right around the same ceiling. But it's obviously not likely to happen. But I think that these two are the Pistons' most important pieces. I think they should be untouchables. I think these two should be the only untouchables on the Pistons team. So, Blake. Now we're with Blake. Blake, I'm putting him right here with the S tier as well. And this is why. Blake, I think Blake, even more than Bruce or Sekiu, his impact changes the future the most. Like Blake, he literally chooses which way the Piston goes. So if Blake's healthy and he's back to his 18-19 self, there's now the full rebuild. That can't happen. That's already thrown out the window because you can't full rebuild with someone like that. And so now you have a decision if he's fully healthy. Do you try to trade him at the deadline with this contract? Our team's even going to be interested. But do you try to trade him at the deadline? Or do you do what I said earlier and accept him which Blake has been a great mentor. Do you expect him to be a mentor and also compete as much as possible with him, with these pieces? Don't go out and trade for like the 30-year-olds, 31-year-olds, like I said. Continue to have good young pieces around Blake and try to have him be the CP3 of the Pistons, like they did with the Thunder. So those two options right there. that's two completely different ways you could go with, and that hinges on Blake's health. Along with that, if Blake's not healthy, do you play him? Like how much do you play him? Do you play him to appease him? Because if you have Christian Wood comes back, he needs his minutes, and Sekiu needs his minutes. And then also if he's unhealthy, what do you do? Like, do you just keep him on the roster? Do you attach something to Blake to get him off the squad, like a Luke or a pick? Do you try to get him off the team? Which I think absolutely the hell not you don't do. You just keep him on the team. But do you do that? If he's unhappy with the team, do you ask him to, you have to trade him? What do you do? I think a lot of things with surrounding Blake. And I think that Blake has been great. I've made a video talking about why Blake's my favorite Piston ever. So I'd love to see him finish his contract in Detroit and even come back to Detroit. Like I love seeing Blake in a Pistons uniform. So I'd like to see Blake get healthy, and if he is healthy, I'd like the Pistons go to the Oklahoma City route, keep him on the team, play as hard as possible, get good young pieces in free agency that could be developed, and if they happen to be good this season or develop to be good this season, then you guys have a good Oklahoma City team because Blake's healthy. And if you want, you can trade Blake, and Blake's healthy. If Blake's healthy playing like 2018-19, and if you do decide to trade him, then I think you could get serious value for Blake. I don't think then it's not what's it called. You have to attach stuff to get Blake off the team. Then I think people are giving you stuff to get Blake because I think that Blake in 2018-19, if he's that guy, he's a top 10 player. That guy you saw in 2018-19 was freaking insane. If he plays like that, dude, you're seeing the same kind of thing you saw with CP3 last year with Oklahoma City. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think Blake's that good when he's healthy. So that's why I have Blake up here. He decides so much for the Pistons' future. His health is literally like decides which way the Pistons go. Because they could do so many different things. It just depends if Blake is healthy. So it's going to be hard to rebuild with Blake if he's healthy, which is why I say like just get young. If he's healthy, then you have the best of both worlds. You have a superstar on your team. Like it's just basically Oklahoma City. You have a superstar on your team. You get to watch a really, really fantastic player surrounded by a bunch of young players who he's helping develop, and at the same time, you guys are playing hard, good basketball, winning some games, not just 76ering it and losing every game. So that's why I have Blake up here in this S tier. He decides too much for the Pistons' future. And now it's Christian Wood. Now, obviously, C Wood's not going in D, C, or B. It's really between A or S. And the reason why people are not going to like this, but I'm going to put him in A, and this is why I put him in A. I don't think it's a guarantee that C Wood's coming back. So that right there already, and it's not like that you can. If you could sign him, if he was restricted, you could sign and trade him. Okay, you're guaranteed not to lose him to anything. But if C Wood simply just doesn't come back, then he might as well have been a D because now he's literally zero importance to the future. Like if he leaves, then there's nothing you can do. You don't get picks, you don't get nothing back for him. It's not like you paid him $10 million and his contract is coming off the books or anything. Like, bro, you're just getting nothing. There's nothing you're getting for him. So if he just leaves, he's falling down. So that's why he has to be an A. Because that chance is there that if he does leave, you're screwed. There's nothing. You can't trade him like Luke or Derek or Blake. You can't. It's not like anything like that. If he just leaves, nothing. Just like gone. That's it. But outside of that, obviously Christian Wood is very important to the Pistons' future. He was insane the final 13 games once Andre left. He showed immense potential throughout the year while Andre was here. People like to consider me a Christian Wood hater because I'm just honest about him. But if you go back and watch, I was writing articles in the preseason and early season for Detroit Bad Boys while I was at the games, covering the Pistons, talking about how C Wood has proven that he deserves to be not only on the roster but getting serious minutes. So I understand how good C Wood is, and he's really important to the Pistons' future because the Pistons are going. If they sign him back, they're going to sign him to I think probably like a 3 or 4 year deal. If they sign him to that, they need to develop him because if they develop him to his highest potential, he can be a really, really good player. Right now, he's already really good on offense. He has to get better on defense, and he has to get better playmaking-wise. He doesn't have to be a great playmaker. He just can't be a black hole, which he was last year. He was incapable of making a correct read outside of scoring. But he was so good at scoring and all that you just ignored it. But if you're going to pay him and you expect him to be a part of your future and someone to develop or build around, you have to develop him, and he has the potential to do all that. If he plays, the only concern with Christian Wood, like I said, is that last year was a fluke because he didn't shoot like that. He didn't shoot that well last year, any year else in his career. But moving past all that, if that last year wasn't a fluke and he's at least as good as last year, he's already a really good player. He's already really good. Now you have to develop him because you can develop him. He can turn into an all-star, and that's something the Pistons need. They have to develop this guy because he has potential to be really, really good. And just based off of that, he should be up here in this S tier. Like, these 4 guys should be the S tier. But like I said, with the potential of him being able to just leave, not the potential of asking out and you trading him, or a team offering him a contract and you sign and trading him. With the potential of him to just simply leave and him just fall off this graph completely, he can't be up here because that potential is there to happen. So I'm going to put him in this A tier. Because in the future, he could just not be here. So this is my list. This is my tier maker list of importance to the Pistons' future. Not best players, not ranking them as the best players on the team, even though you'll see that most likely that the good players are going to be up here. So, but, I mean, if you wanted to, you can put like the number 7 pick. Just draw like number 7 right here in this little area next to Blink for their pick that they get. But since we don't have them, I don't know who it is. But if you want, you can be funny and just put that number 7 right there next to him. But this is my list. I feel pretty confident. I actually like this list a lot. The only people that I'm like I'm thinking still about is I don't like putting Svi right here because it makes it seem. Actually, no, I'm fine with Svi right there. It's really Kyrie because Kyrie, I don't want putting him right here and not having these 3 with him feels like kind of mean. But it's like I said with Kyrie, I really think he probably may not be on this team next year, and I don't think even if he is on the team, he'll really have a chance to do anything because he's still going to be buried on a depth chart. So, it is what it is. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this tier list, what you guys disagree with. I know you guys, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff about where I put Christian Wood. Excuse me, sorry, I have the hiccups. Or Svi, and maybe even Luke. There may be some Luke fans that want him up here, and there may be some people who think I'm crazy to have Bruce or even Blake up here. So just let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this, where you guys disagree or where you guys agree with. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are 6 subscribers away from 600. I've been told you guys, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers. I want to start making money off this. I want to start making this part of my. I want to make it here, man. So if you're watching this video and you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe down below because we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers to make this a legit channel. I want to make this I want to start making money. I want to start doing this and making money off of it and making this part of my career. I want to eventually make this my career. So 6 away from 600. Subscribe if you liked the video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let everybody know that your favorite YouTuber, favorite Pistons YouTuber, is Kuka Hill. Check out the channel. So outside of that, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.